We are at the Battle of Athens State Historic Site. This is just the office where we can pick up pamphlets. It's down the road. So I have this pamphlet to read about it, and there's a small map here. So I'm trying to look at the map before we get started. I see Iowa and Missouri. We just barely crossed over into Missouri. That was very flat farmland in Iowa. And right here in this area, though, was a little hilly. Let's see, here's a guide. Number 1 is Tom's Mill here. The Cannonball House here. Smith Hotel here. So I guess we're going to these locations. Townsend House, Blue Brick here. And it looks like it shows a map, something about the forces going that way. We have Belknap and Sample here. We have Small here. So these would have been where the troops were outlined. Here in a kind of a circle, trying to keep them going that way, I'm assuming, because then they were this way. We're going to have to do some reading. Looks like there was some more here and here and here. I guess the dark ones are one side and the light ones are the other side. Still trying to orient ourselves. It looks like we came in what's now CC, former Prairie Road, which turns into, there's itty bitty writing. This is Tome Road, and this is Turner, and so we are sitting right here at this intersection. Tome and Turner Streets, and there's a beautiful old church. Looks like we're just getting ready to enter the town. It looks like there might have been some battles or some troops lined up in these fields.
The church, and next to the church, if I read correctly, is what they refer to as Cemetery Ridge, which would be right over that way.
We are at either Tome or Tome and Elm, and there's this house. It says William S. French House. So a man named French. And I guess you could get out and look in the windows, but it's cold here today. And then, just down the street, that is such a cool house. As you drive by, you can kind of see in the windows. This is the Moreland House.
Okay, this is the Moreland House.
So I'm trying to read, and it says the echoes of Fort Sumter had scarcely died away. So this is very early in the Civil War, and they were just beginning to gather in bands, and the Unionists were called Home Guards, and the Secessionists were called State Guards. Interesting. We just drove down the road and saw those 3 buildings. And we have to park to walk in here. There's a little bathroom there. We have a sign. August 5th, 1861, the northernmost battle west of the Mississippi River. So there were some that were more northern on the east side of the Mississippi River. I wonder what the westernmost battle was. That would be interesting to know.
Good point.
So only when man's differences have been resolved can he rise to his rightful place. Robert Eisenhart. There is a trail. Probably not going to take that today. Goes down to, it says a mill trail. Let's go in here. This is called Shelter House and Shower House. But I love how you can see the actual town. That the battle was fought in the middle of the town. I wonder if this is new for the park or if this is something that was here. Oh, we found a sign that said it's a newer building to be rented, so it wasn't here back then, but here's a list of all the businesses that were here from 1853 to 1860. And Keokuk, there were some other, it's just south of here, but there's some other locations in the area. We don't know much about the history, we're just now learning. And here's the map of the city of Athens. Back then, I know there's a Battle of Athens in Tennessee. So it's interesting that there's one in Missouri too. They had a ferry. You can see how many streets there are, and these are actually marked. I'll have to show you out in the fields. We saw that the streets are no longer there. The houses aren't, but they know where they were located. And here's what the general store looked like. They had a downright nice little community here back in then. This is on Spring Street. And that's on Spring Street. Apparently there's a campground down in here somewhere too. It's a little map, picnic area, but we're over here in this area. Des Moines River. Snow Trillium Trail. It is really cold out today, so I'm going to hope that you can stop the video and read this. Talks about 5:30 a.m. So here we go. The Home Guard is in blue and the State Guard is in red. And there's a key to where everything is. So the Home Guard is here on St. Louis Street in blue. But see, here's the State Guard is on the outlying area. Here's this is opposite, kind of turned around that first map I was looking at. As across the Des Moines was the Bilk, Knapp, and Sample. So they were the Home Guard. So it looks like we walk on down the street to find more around the corner as well. So there's a house here. So it says it's the Stone House. And here is the information. See, we are all the way, here's the county in the very corner of Missouri. And it says we are here if we're following the maps. See here, the sign says Virginia Street, and this is Spring Street. And Virginia Street ran straight up through here. So they have signs marking the streets, but so all of the village would have been out there. There's a cannon. It says Smith Hotel to the left, so I guess this is a Smith Hotel. And when we get to the end of the road, the Benning House and the Athens Mill overlook are going to be there. Please pause the video and read if you are interested in reading this. I took a little photo to read later. And we are here now. You see how it says Virginia Street, so the map's kind of turned around, but there were streets all through here. Each of the houses have in the windows or doors about it. This is the Smith Hotel. William Stevenson bought this property in 1870 as an improvement lot for $25. Sold it to Martin B. George for $400. Thus, this building was likely built in 1870s by the Stevensons, and it was ran as a hotel for approximately 30 years. Back side of the house, so they would have fought this. There's the cannon. Fence right in and amongst the people. Okay, so the road comes from there and goes around this field. And you see there's the last house we were at. And now this is the Athens Mill overlook. We're going to go there second. I think we're going to go here. It says Colton House Site. See more on the battle for the history buffs. I love all the old pictures they have of the place. The corner of Virginia and St. Louis Street. You can see the backside of that house that we were at. We are here. Overlooks the river. You can see the river down in here. It says it's the Benning House, circa 1853. I could only hope my ancestors lived in as nice of a house in 1853. So Arthur Tomei, or Tome, probably Tomei, an immigrant from Kentucky, built this house in 1853, and then Joseph Benning acquired it in 58. The cannonball fired from the artillery of the pro-Confederate Missouri State Guard hit the house during the August 5, 1861 Battle of Athens. And you can read more. But there's a well. But right here, next to the door, is the hole. There's the hole, right next to the door. Who knew? Whoever fired that cannonball would know that people would be looking at the hole it made for years to come. That's a funny thought. So it would have had to have come from back that way, like where, let's see, that's the hotel, and way far in the distance, where it is right on the other side of that tree, behind the hotel was where they had that cannon, so maybe it was shot from there and came all the way over here. I see a bunch of birds down there. I don't know if you can see it flying over the water. They're like seagulls. I don't know, but this isn't the sea. So here is where it went all the way through the house and out the back side, splintered the wood. It's a good thing I don't think anybody was injured standing in the house there. Got splintered it all the way going down. And here we are looking at a hole created in 1861. This is beautiful. Can you imagine living here with the water? Oh, if you can see all the birds. Gorgeous. So there's the overlook. It's really cold out here. I think we might just look at it from here instead. So if you take the mill trail, it walks right in front of this, and you can see the stone wall from where the mill used to be. That's pretty cool. Like, I imagine the water floods and goes right over it at times. I love the birds. And I think that's what you can see from the overlook as well. So since my fingers can't have gloves on it to film, I need to maybe skip the overlook. Cool. I love it when they show this stuff, especially for the children. This is the millstones that probably were used at the mill, and to grind whatever it was that was bringing in. So there's the fence again. And rather than walking back that way, we can cut through here on Virginia Street into town. So reading the pamphlet, the battle lasted less than 2 hours. The rebels lost 31 men killed and wounded, while Moore's own casualties numbered 23. I'm reading just a little bit more to pick up some tips to give us perspective. So with a yell, the Federal Center surged forward up Home Street. So that is the street, the main one down through the town, across yards and fields, gleaming bayonets outstretched, so right through all of the homes. And the rebel center quivered, then broke, and the men rushing to the rear in panic. It says they dashed through the cornfield and down the river, fleeing directly to the east. We go back to this map from the beginning, and we see the home guard is the dark colored, and the light colored is the state guard, who fled across the river.